Ok, mình sẽ chép lại y nguyên đoạn bạn đã gửi. Không thêm, không bớt, không sang tạo. Ever feel like the universe has a personal vendetta against us? What if I told you there were moments in history, not some sci-fi movie, but real-life events, where humanity was literally a hair's breadth from being wiped off the face of the earth? We're talking about cosmic ray barbecues, skies turning black for decades, and solar flares so powerful they could strip away our planet's sunscreen. These weren't just disasters. They were bizarre, close calls that sculpted the very people we are today. This isn't just history. It's the hidden, creepy story of our survival. Number 9. The chicks love near repeat. Imagine you're an early human just chilling in your cave, maybe drawing some sweet wall art. Then the sky lights up brighter than a million suns. This was a 2-kilometer wide space rock, basically a mountain from space, heading straight for Earth. When this bad boy hit Southeast Asia, it turned the ground into lava soup. The impact was so intense it shot melted rocks into space, which then rained back down as little glass beads called tektites. These space glass beads have been found everywhere from Australia to Antarctica. The explosion kicked up so much dust it basically turned Earth into a giant snow globe, except instead of pretty snow, it was death dust, blocking out the sun. The weirdest part is we can't find the crater. Scientists think it's somewhere under the Bolavan Plateau in Laos, which is now famous for its coffee plantations. So basically, the spot where we almost went extinct is now where people get their morning caffeine fix. But our ancestors survived this. While everything was going to hell, early humans lived through years of winter, food shortages, and probably some really intense sunsets. Number 8. The 536 AD mystery cloud. So there you are, living your best medieval life, when suddenly the sun just stopped working. In the year 536 AD, this became a reality. A mysterious fog showed up uninvited and decided to stick around for 18 months. The sun was so dim that people couldn't see their own shadows at noon. It's like the sun went from being a spotlight to a really sad desk lamp. Scientists now think this was caused by a massive volcanic eruption that basically turned Earth's atmosphere into nature's Instagram filter. But instead of making everything look better, it made everything worse. The temperature dropped so much that summer felt like winter. Crops started failing everywhere because apparently plants are picky and need this thing called sunlight to grow. This kicked off what historians call the worst decade in human history, which is really saying something considering how many terrible decades we've had. And just when people thought things couldn't get worse, more volcanoes decided to join the party. The next few eruptions basically turned that decade into a century-long cold snap. Number 7. The Carrington Event's prehistoric cousin. One day, the sun decided to throw the mother of all temper tantrums. Not with the usual slow burn of a hot summer day, but with a massive explosion that makes nuclear bombs look like firecrackers. Scientists have found evidence that our sun once went completely insane. We're talking about a solar superflare that was hundreds of times stronger than any solar storm in modern history. This superflare was strong enough to potentially strip away Earth's ozone layer. That's our planetary sunscreen, the thing that stops us from getting cooked alive by UV radiation. Trees from that time period are basically telling us something really messed up happened back then. You see, trees record radiation levels in their rings, like a cosmic diary. Scientists also found evidence in Antarctic ice cores. Even the moon has recited. Stars, like our sun, apparently do this more often than we thought. Scientists have seen other stars similar to ours throwing these cosmic tantrums. Number 6. When Lake Toba blacked out the sun 74,000 years ago, the sun just disappeared. That's exactly what happened 74,000 years ago when the Toba supervolcano decided to throw a truly world-ending outburst. We're talking about an explosion 1,000 times more powerful than Mount St. Helens. In just 2 weeks, this angry mountain spewed out enough ash and rock to fill 1.5 million Olympic swimming pools. The volcano shot out these things called pyroelastic flows. Imagine a wall of gas and rock moving at 320 km/h. That's faster than a Formula One car. Except this thing is also hot enough to melt your face off at 1100 degrees C. The ash went so high into the sky that it literally turned day into night. Not for a day or two. We're talking decades of darkness. Plants started dying because they need sunlight to live. No plants meant no food for animals. And no food for animals meant no food for humans. Our ancestors got hit so hard that scientists think only about 3,000 to 10,000 humans survived worldwide. That's fewer people than you'd find in a small town today. Today, all that's left of this catastrophe is Lake Toba in Indonesia. Looks peaceful now, doesn't it? Just remember, you're looking at the place that almost turned humans into an endangered species. It's honestly insane how much of our world, and even our own bodies, is a result of us just barely making it. Think about this. The very place where we almost went extinct from a giant space rock is now where we get our morning coffee. It's almost a cruel joke. And it makes me wonder, are we a species that only evolves and gets smarter when we're facing a frozen apocalypse? It seems like every time we faced a world-ending event, it wasn't just a challenge. It was an upgrade. That's a terrifying thought, that our darkest moments are what make us, us. Okay, mình sẽ chép lại ý nguyên đoạn bạn vừa gửi. Không thay đổi gì. Number 5. The Younger Dryas deep freeze. Here's a fun fact. About 12,900 years ago, Mother Nature decided to hit the reverse button on global warming. The temperature dropped by 10 degrees C in just a few decades. That might not sound like much, but it's enough to turn New York City into a frozen wasteland. Scientists have two theories about what caused this deep freeze. The first one is that a comet exploded over North America. The explosion was so powerful, it literally set the atmosphere on fire. The second theory is that a massive lake of glacial meltwater suddenly dumped into the ocean. This fresh water messed up the ocean's heat circulation system, basically turning off Earth's thermostat. Imagine you're just figuring out how to grow food for the first time in human history. You've got your little farm going. Things are looking up. Then everything freezes. And this isn't just for a few months. This lasted for 1,200 years. That's longer than the time between now and when the Vikings were around. This near-extinction event might have actually pushed humans to become smarter. When you're facing a frozen apocalypse, you either get creative or you don't survive. Number 4. The magnetic field collapse scare. Earth has this invisible shield that protects us from deadly space radiation. About 42,000 years ago, it basically went on strike. Scientists call it the last chimp event. The magnetic field dropped to just 5% of what it is today. That's like trying to stop a bullet with a paper towel instead of a bulletproof vest. With our shield down, cosmic radiation started bombarding Earth. The ozone layer took a massive hit, letting in dangerous UV rays. Our ancestors had to hide in caves to avoid getting cosmic ray barbecued. They even started using red ochre, like prehistoric sunscreen. This cosmic disaster might have helped wipe out some of our prehistoric roommates. Giant kangaroos and marsupial rhinos in Australia disappeared. The last Neanderthals in Europe picked a really bad time to exist. We know all this thanks to an ancient tree in New Zealand. This tree was basically keeping a diary of cosmic rays in its rings, like some prehistoric gear counter. The craziest part is this could happen again. Our magnetic field is actually getting weaker right now. Number 3, the Atlantic current shutdown. So Earth has this massive ocean current system that works like central heating. 200 years ago, someone basically unplugged it. There's this massive ocean current called AMOC. Think of it as Earth's central heating system. It moves warm water from the tropics up north, keeping places like Europe nice and cozy. But 8,200 years ago, something went terribly wrong. 2 massive ice lakes in North America suddenly decided to dump all their water into the Atlantic Ocean. This was like 50 Amazon rivers worth of fresh water all at once. This fresh water basically acted like someone pouring a giant glass of water into Earth's soup. The ocean current needs salty water to keep moving. But all this fresh water made it too weak to function. Within just a few decades, temperatures in the northern hemisphere dropped several degrees. This wasn't just a wear an extra sweater kind of cold. This was a goodbye crops, hello, eternal winter kind of cold. If the current had completely stopped, we might have been thrown into another ice age. Imagine trying to start civilization while the planet is actively trying to turn into a giant freezer. Scientists found evidence of this in tiny fossils at the bottom of the ocean, like nature's own black box recorder. The only reason we're here talking about this is because the current managed to stabilize itself just in time. Number 2, the Campanian Ignimbrite eruption. Picture this. You're living in Europe 39,000 years ago, just chilling with your hunter-gatherer homies. Then one day, the sky turns black. Not your regular stormy black. We're talking about the kind of darkness that makes midnight look like high noon. What you're witnessing is one of the most insane volcanic eruptions in human history. This bad boy shot ash 24 miles into the sky. That's 3 times higher than commercial planes fly today. This thing covered an area bigger than India in volcanic ash. We're talking about ash layers thick enough to bury a person standing up in some places. All that ash in the sky blocked out the sun, creating what scientists call a volcanic winter. Basically, Earth hit the pause button on summer. The rain turned acidic too. Imagine acid rain so strong it could kill plants and make breathing feel like inhaling hot sauce. This might have helped wipe out the Neanderthals. They were already having a rough time competing with our ancestors, and this volcanic apocalypse might have been the final nail in their coffin. Bạn có muốn mình chép tip number 1 để khớp trọn bộ không?